Hi folks, Astronomy Live here. Is it Groundhog Day yet? It's beginning to feel like Groundhog Day. I'm back once again on the WSO channel with Steve Olson and friends, and I'm here because a viewer asked me to come here and address this video. I didn't even pay attention to this video, to be quite honest, but I was told that a response was posted, and so I checked it out, and sure enough, in the first few seconds I'm started to see a lot of the same claims repeat, but some new ones too, and so I'm going to address them. We're going to take a look at his video, see what he says, and once again take a look at the actual website where these images are kept and see what the real truth of the matter is. So no problem, we'll just go through it again and see if we can't find the truth here. And once again, I will post all the relevant links in the video description so you can check it out for yourself and decide for yourself who is telling the truth here.
Hi, everybody. It is August 9th. Wayne Steiger and Steve Olson with WSO. Hi, everybody.
Hello. I beat you to it. How you doing, Steve?
Doing good, man. All right. So we've been talking, and I don't want to advertise for liars, and I don't want to advertise for people that bring out misdirection. But we've had a lot of critics on this particular.
I wonder who he's trying to refer to there, huh? Well, I'm telling the truth. I'm just showing the truth, okay, guys? And hey, the responses I've been getting to these videos I've been posting has been great. I mean, the vast majority of people who see the truth realize it when they see it. And so I thank you for all your support. And we're just going to show the truth once again. And I'll post the links in the video description. You can verify everything I say for yourself. You don't have to take my word for it. Please don't take his word for it. Don't even take my word for it. Check it out for yourself. Because it's just obvious what the truth is, okay? And we're going to go through this and take a closer look at what he says he's showing here.
Photograph. It's the H12A analysis that we did last week.
Okay, hold on. He just called it H12A. No, that's an I. HI stands for Heliospheric Imager 2. A is designating the fact that it's from stereo ahead.
And there's a lot of criticism because they're saying that we're lying about something, and I think what they're saying is that Wayne and I were catching them occluding the Saturn area in the image here, this part right here. And we think that this is a significant find. And so we predicted last week when Wayne and I were going to put this footage up of this particular find, I told Wayne right when we were going to put it up, I said, this one is dangerous. This one is going to cause a lot of attack. And I think you agreed with me, didn't you, Wayne?
Yeah, I'll leave it at that.
So what they're saying we're lying about is that SECCHI covers it up. And what they were trying to prove is that SECCHI didn't cover this up by finding some very weird backdoor way into the imagery into SECCHI, which I'm not aware of. The front page.
Okay. He's saying that I'm showing some sort of backdoor way in? No, I showed you guys how to get to these images in my videos twice. And it's through the front door, the same front door that everyone goes through. There's no, I don't have any backdoor secret access. Okay, I'm not some government agent who can, I don't know, hack into the server and get pictures that no one else can get. No, everyone can get these pictures. It's straight off the main page. And I showed you guys how to get to those pictures in my videos. I'll show you again in just a moment.
For SECCHI, when I go in there to look at these images, they have this part of space covered up. That's all I'm saying.
Okay, he said it now. What, this is like the third time after having seen my videos? Okay, just keep that in mind. It's not like he isn't aware of what my videos contain. He's complaining about them. He's commented on them in 2 different locations. He knows how to get to these pictures. I mean, he's seen the videos. I've done this twice. Let's do it again. So here's the main page for the image gallery with all the different cameras and all the different ways these images are processed, from extreme ultraviolet images to the coronagraph images to heliospheric imager pictures. Okay, you can see there are 2 different kinds of processing techniques that are used from the raw data that he is talking about. The first one he says they're covering up is this one right here, standard HI processing. The one he says they're covering up with is the HI stars images. So, how do you get to these pictures? Very simple. On the left side of the page, here are all the directories for all the different types of images. You have HI stars A, you have just regular HIA, you have HI2, SRIM-A, etc. So the ones he keeps showing are from HIA and HI stars A. If we go to HIA, 2016, August 2nd, pick your resolution, come down to the bottom, there's the image that he says went missing. August 2nd, 2016, Universal Time 22:09:21. And let's go back to the start. Just click Go Back to the Start. Even from the link I gave you, if you click that, it'll take you back to the start. Then you can go to HI Stars A, 2016, August 2nd, 1024 resolution, scroll down. Same picture, processed differently. Again, this comes from the raw data, the high bit depth FITS files, which I already extensively covered in my previous videos, showing that depending on how much contrast you apply to the raw FITS file image, the high bit depth FITS file image, you can produce an 8-bit image which either shows the brighter, relatively brighter Milky Way and the stars, but without showing any glare or any light which appears over the Earth occultor, which again, this is the Earth occulter. We'll go over that again in a minute. Or you can process it with much more contrast, as in the standard HIA directory, which you can still get to and have been able to get to the whole time. And come down here, 22:09:21. Oh, look, there it is. Okay, there's no big secret here. There's no backdoor here. It's just the main page. Okay, and I'll include the link right here in the video description, and I just showed you how to get to it. It's no big secret. You can even see a preview thumbnail of it right here on the front page. Of course, it will show the latest images, but you get the idea. So, let's keep playing the video and listen to some more of what he says.
And the other thing I was saying was that we were getting this image, and then only a few minutes later on the site that I was getting the images from, they were covering it up. That's all we were saying. Okay?
But they weren't. We've established that now pretty thoroughly. Images are not being covered up. They're still available.
The question is, why are they trying to distract you from what's really there?
We're not?
That's the question you have to ask yourself, right? So we have had a lot of feedback on this image and then also the H1 imagery that we've been talking about, Wayne. And so Wayne and I, actually more Wayne than me, started to do some research on the core H1 assembly. So I'm going to turn it over to you, Wayne, and let's spend a minute talking about some of the ridiculous things that people are saying versus the technology that's involved here.
Yeah. And so, okay, I'm putting the challenge out. The others that are using WSO's videos to, apparently they can't make their own, so they're basic.
What do you think this is? This is my own video. It just happens to be a commentary and criticism of your video. And I know you guys don't like that, but that's fair use. That's protected by copyright law as fair use. Commentary and criticism is explicitly protected. I've got plenty of my own videos which are not based in commentary or criticism of anyone else's videos. I do a lot of my own original work too, which is completely independent of anything you guys are doing. And you can check out my channel. By all means, check out some of my other videos too if you want to see what I can do on my own. But this is a video addressing what you guys are saying, so naturally I have to show what you guys are saying so I can address it.
Stealing your video, Steve, and trying...
Oh, come on, give me a break. I'm not stealing your video, I'm giving commentary on it. If anything, I'm giving you more attention than I should.
Trying to debunk us. So, there's nothing to debunk here. So let's all learn a little quick lesson on what it is exactly this satellite looks like. Well, there it is. And Steve, if you want to give some commentary, I'll move the mouse to where you're on, but here is SECCHI right here. This is the image, this H1, and you can see
Okay, this is point number one, Wayne. Point number one is we've heard from other, and again, most of the attacks are coming from other large channels. That's YouTube channels, the ones that typically deal with the kind of the paranormal or with this subject or others. That's the other interesting thing about the attacks that are coming at us. They're from people that should normally be supportive of our research and what we're trying to find out, right?
Yeah.
But anyway, the SECCHI heliospheric imager, one of the things that these critics have said is that it's the boom that we're seeing in that little side. Well, the boom is...
Who has said that it's the impact magnetometer boom that you're seeing in the picture? I certainly never said that. I said it was the Earth occulter. Basically, let's go over this again. Let's see here. Earth, Moon, occulter. Brightness of Earth in the early phase of the mission is such that the HI2 image would saturate. The Earth's intensity would be 1,250,000 times the pixel saturation level at mission start. This is from a PDF file, basically like a PowerPoint presentation showing some highlights of the heliospheric imager system. And so that is why they decided they had to occult the Earth until its intensity reached that about that of Venus, so that it wouldn't completely wash out the image. That's why the Earth occulter exists, and they show here where it is in the CCD. And let's see, as I showed before, here's a diagram also labeling it. That's the Earth occulter. It has nothing to do with the magnetometer boom. Two completely different parts. Maybe somebody else tried to suggest that's what it was, but it certainly wasn't my channel, and I haven't seen anyone suggesting that, so I don't know where they got that idea from, but that's not what I'm saying.
Behind the instrument, guys, that instrument is pointing in the same direction as the sun-centered imaging package.
Yeah, and it has nothing to do with the Earth occulter. Sounds like a nice straw man to me, but no, the Earth occulter is specifically designed to block the Earth and light from Earth from early in the mission, and it's put into the HI2 imager, which is a small lens that does sit on the side of the spacecraft like they show. If you go up earlier in this PDF, you can see a picture of the system. Here's another diagram. The HI1 optics, HI2 optics, they basically sit next to each other. They have all these baffles that try to keep out stray light as well, and you can actually see that in some of the earlier HI2 images. There's this circular, sort of semicircular cutoff on the side of the image. That's because of these baffles. And this is HI2 down here, this is HI1 up here. They're pretty small lenses. I mean, you can see how big they are compared to this guy's hand. They're not that big. They're something you could hold in your hand if you could take the thing apart. And the Earth occulter is built into the system. You can't see it. It covers the CCD, but that's deeper into the camera system. So that's that. It has nothing to do with booms outside the spacecraft getting in the way or anything like that. It was a very deliberate decision to block Earth from view when the spacecraft was still close to Earth. It no longer serves any purpose, but it was necessary early in the mission. So, that's that. Now, I do want to go back here and take a look at the images from HI2 that he's talking about, because he thinks that this is something weird, that this is some indication of some object that they're trying to cover up, and that's the reason. If you go to the HI stars processed versions, it looks like nothing is on the Earth occulter. Again, we've been over this in the previous video. They're high bit depth FITS files. In my own processing of that image, you see the same thing. It looks flat when I process it like this to reveal the stars. But when I increase the contrast dramatically, you can see, here's this prominent line that's on there, there's other straight light, there's another line here too that's kind of faint, but you can kind of see it there. And it's the same thing we see when we go back to the start, HIA 2016, August 2nd, 1024, let's scroll all the way down. It's the same picture. You can see that prominent line. You can see some other lines too. And these appear to move over time. And you look at it in an animation, it looks like something is moving there, right? Let's actually take a look at that. So you can actually go into not just the image gallery, but generate movies using the JavaScript movie tool. And we can take a look at August 2nd. And we can generate a movie. And you can see it looks like something's moving there. Notice, however, that it is moving at the same rate that the stars are. That should give you a hint. So what are these vertical lines? Well, it's actually the same phenomenon you see here being caused by Venus. Notice this vertical line extends all the way past the baffles. You can see the baffles here that I mentioned before, this semicircular sort of cutoff on one side of the image. You can't see past that, obviously. It's a physical object that's blocking the camera. But you still see this white line that extends all the way through the image in a vertical column. This is what we call CCD blooming. Venus is so bright that its electrons, from the photons that hit the CCD and get converted into electrons, spill over into neighboring pixels along the same column. It basically overflows. And so you get this vertical CCD blooming. There are two basic types of CCDs. There are CCDs that have what they call anti-bloom gating, ABGs. And then there's NABGs, or non-anti-bloom gating, which I know it's a double negative, but basically it means CCD blooming can totally happen because there's nothing to block that overflow from occurring. The NABGs are typically used in scientific applications because they have certain advantages in terms of the linearity of response of the CCD, the sensitivity of the response, etc. So they're used in scientific applications like this, not so much in home video cameras and still cameras. But HI2 and HI1 are NABGs, meaning they do suffer from CCD blooming on really bright sources. So the Milky Way itself, as you can see, is basically blown out here, the way that this is processed. It's not nearly as overexposed when you actually look at the raw data like we did before. But there are, relatively bright stars here. You can see some blooming with Mercury and Venus. You can see, blooming on bright objects that are in the image. And the way these images are calibrated tries to minimize the effect of that. But you can still see there's vertical columns that are basically black because of how the calibration has occurred. And you do get, to a lesser extent, I should say, some CCD blooming occurring even through here, but you can't normally see it with the background of the Milky Way and the stars. But when it passes over this Earth occulter, which again is a physical occulter that's in the camera, so again, that should give you a huge clue that anything you see on it is not really out there in space. It's something to do with the camera. It's stray light, it's CCD blooming, and that's why it looks like it's moving. Not only do you have some degree of stray light present on the occulter, but you also have this sort of Venetian blind effect that's moving along here from objects that are producing blooming in the image, to a lesser extent, of course, than Venus and even Mercury. But when it passes over this Earth occulter, that high contrast enhancement that's being done in this image really pulls that out, and you can really see it there quite prominently. You can see it in the raw data as well. When you process for much higher contrast, you can start to see some of that vertical blooming going on there. And that's all it is. Now, you can prove to yourself that that's all it is, that this is nothing new, by going back in time. So these are the images from August 2nd and August 3rd, 2016. But here's the deal. This is not Stereohead's first year in space, right? Stereohead is orbiting the Sun, just like Earth is orbiting the Sun. But a year for Stereohead is a bit shorter than a year on Earth. That's why it's Stereohead. That's why it runs ahead of Earth in its orbit around the Sun. A year for Stereohead, one trip around the Sun, takes about 344.5 days right now. So if you wind the clock back by that much, you'll see basically the same stars in the camera. So let's wind the clock back by about that amount. and let's see what happens. Alright, so here are images from August 24th and 25th from Stereo Head HI2, and you can see the same effect happening a year ago, or almost a year ago, because again, Stereo Head is running ahead of Earth in its orbit. It has a shorter year than we do here on Earth. But when the Milky Way passes behind the Earth occultor at that same spot, once again, you see the same effect once again. You get the same basic stray light on the Earth occulter from all that Milky Way light entering the camera, and you get the same blooming effect, sort of this Venetian blinds moving across the Earth occulter from blooming in bright sources that are present in the Milky Way as it passes behind the Earth occulter. So it's not some great mystery, it's not some new object in deep space. It's just the Earth occulter and stray light and camera effects like CCD blooming passing in front of it. That's all there is to it. Again, this is it's like I said in my last video. It's like taking your finger, putting it in front of your camera while you're pointing it near the sun and getting a lens flare to appear on your finger in the camera image and saying, you know what, that's a real object out in space. It's silly. And no one's suggesting that this is some sort of boom outside the spacecraft or something you could see by looking at a diagram of the entire spacecraft. It's internal to the camera on HI2, and you can find it documented extensively in papers that were put together before the vehicle even flew. I mean, like this image I'm showing here, this was taken before flight. This is a test image from HI2 doing stray light tests, and you can see the same Earth occulter is there. It has nothing to do with the rest of the spacecraft. It's specific and deliberate to this camera. So I think that clears up all the major points he's trying to raise here in disputing my explanation for his images. Again, the images he says they're trying to hide are not hidden, and I will now include a link to the start page so everyone can see this isn't some super secret backdoor trick to get into the images. You can get into them right from here. You can see previews of what each image type looks like. And yes, the standard HI images have a higher contrast enhancement than the HI stars images. No great mystery there, and you can get to them using the directories on the left here. What you want are HI stars A and just standard HIA to get these types of images. Thanks for watching, folks. Clear skies.